is about to happen?
Oh my God, man! I'm almost I'm out of tears. I'm out of all the bad emotional stuff. It's exciting because this is where I started, you guys. And some of you guys might be some media outlets from out of town, but the ones that have been here, such as yourself, have been here since the beginning, covering my stories and covering my ups and downs. And I'm so glad to be back where I am at this time. You know, it's an important part of my career. You know, it's like do or die for both me and Bethe. And unfortunately, they didn't put her in the right neck of the woods to start out this journey.
You talk about it being do or die. I mean, with all the fun and the emotion and the excitement, I mean, this really is a very big fight in your career.
You know, I'm not being told that I'm getting cut, but I'm looking at it that way. You know what I mean? I know, listen, I know the UFC is, you know, they got a business to run, and I have my own business to run. And lately I've been operating under crappy circumstances and underestimating myself, and now it's time to turn it on. And I mean, what better place than to be, you know, right where I'm at this very moment in that tier, you know, like I never used to be a really like crazy believer in, you know, God and all this stuff, but I'm a believer in energy and stuff, and I believe that there's a reason I'm here under these circumstances, and I'm fortunate. I really am.
Was that the revelation you talked about, the sports psychology? Was that the revelation you had?
No, you know, my sports psychologist, and you know, I've not hit about it. You know, me and my father have had a very up and down emotional relationship, and as much as times as I was mad at him, and we've had some, you know, really terrible moments, he always was there for me. And during the times that I lost were times that he wasn't in my life. And I realized that maybe our relationship wasn't the best that it was, but it was almost like it gave me the power I needed to be the better me. And unfortunately, my father passed away in July, and you know, God rest his soul, because he lost a battle with cancer. And I never knew how crazy cancer could affect somebody in the way that it could. But the other day, he left me a toothpick on my motorcycle. My dad always had a toothpick. You know, your hillbilly man always had a piece of straw or toothpick in his mouth. And the other day, I was riding my motorcycle, and randomly a toothpick showed up. And I'm a firm believer, my dad's back in my corner, and we were able to put away some of the bad moments that we had. And thank God my sports psychologist helped me a little bit right before he passed away, and I was able to go tell him I love him. He also told me he loved me too.
Do you think that's going to help you going into this fight?
Yeah, why wouldn't it? I got a spirit in the sky, man. I got someone that's looking out for me. I got someone that's giving me the energy that I almost lost for a little bit. And you know, if I could ever give any advice to anybody, like, parents don't come with a guideline or a book on how to raise, and you know, as a child you don't get stipulations. You're just told to follow the rules, and sometimes you don't know how to because you're just not grown up. But I'm 30 now, and I understand things differently, and I'm different now. And I'm so thankful for the sports psychologist, Jack. He works with the Cleveland Cavaliers' new recruit. So I felt like he kind of understood where I was going. Like, I'm almost, you know, going into something bigger now. A lot of publicity. I'm here in Cleveland. You know, I'm here with my hometown. Everywhere I look is something familiar, and I'm using it as a fuel and not as a handicap.
It feels very much like a fresh start for you, like just something completely new.
Yeah, you know, I found out that maybe I was feeling sorry for myself, or maybe I was almost like being like, well, I made it this far, why shouldn't I be happy? But like, how could I have settled? Like, I've always my whole life been the kind of woman that told people, like, don't ever settle, keep going, keep going. But then I was a victim of my own circumstance. I was doing what I said you shouldn't be doing. And what kind of person does that? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of person says things like that and then doesn't follow through themselves? And I didn't realize I was doing it. And as I'll say it a million times, my coaches, Alex Cooper, Pablo, Bobby, and Marcus Marinelli, man, I put them through hell, you guys. I was not an easy athlete to deal with. Everything I did, I threw at them. I yelled at them. I told them I didn't trust them, and they never lost faith in me, man. And that means something. And I feel like I'm so fortunate in that way. And I got Strong Style Fight Family tattooed on my back for 9 years now, and it almost feel like it's re-tattooed in my heart and my back.
What has the sports psychologist done different? Because I spoke to you before the Sarah McMahon fight, and you said you couldn't link everything up in regards to your boxing in the octagon. What's been the major difference?
You know, it's finding self-unity. You know, the first thing after the moment he met with me, he said to me, he goes, you have no self-unity. He goes, you have no connection with yourself. You've separated your feelings from your physical abilities, and you're always putting yourself down. So if I'm sitting there telling you to believe in me, but I don't believe in myself, or I'm scared, I mean, that shows. It shows in my performances. It showed in the McMahon fight. I didn't fight. No one can say I lost that fight because I didn't even fight. If you've ever seen me fight from the first time, I've got over 20 fights under my belt. You look at that fight and you go, that's not Jessica. And I think everybody, is waiting for that Jessica that they saw in my first UFC fight from the beginning years when I was even with Bellator and even before that. The things that got me to where I am today. It's almost like my dad always said, humble pie tastes like shit, but everybody's got their own recipe. And unfortunately, I found a new recipe for being humble.
How's it go down on Saturday night?
It's a knockout, guys. I'm not settling for this, and it doesn't mean I'm going out there swinging for the fences. It means pinpoint accuracy, and if I could be anything like Stipe was for Verdum, I'm gonna either get it going forward or she's gonna get it coming in.
Jessica, I was hoping you could clear the air on something. She says that you turned down the fight to film a movie.
In Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
No, actually, you know what? I wish Marcus was here right now because I caused excuse my language, a shitstorm, and my coach will tell you right here, I begged for that fight in Pittsburgh. I sat in his office and begged him. I said, Marcus, I'm on a losing streak. I go to Pittsburgh. It's right around the corner. It's in my hometown. All my people can drive. They can be there. They'll be there to support me. And Marcus said, no, it's not the right time, Jessica. It's not. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be off for 9 months. I'm going to go broke. I'm losing fights. I'm not making money when you're losing fights. People don't want your merchandise. They don't want to buy anything. And I begged him. You guys, I almost had to leave my gym because I wanted that fight over that girl. I almost had to leave my gym because my coach said, you don't trust me? You've made it this far with me and you don't trust my decision making? I wanted that fight. And you know what? If she thinks that that's what's going to help motivate her, that I didn't want the fight, it's going to be a really long ride home to Brazil for her.
Was there a movie also? Did you do a movie?
Unfortunately, and I don't know much about I'm not sure if you guys know much about the movie business. There was a movie. It was the same people that Misha, Cyborg, and all those people dealt with. But from my understanding, they haven't paid them. And then they went to bring me in the movie, and then we couldn't figure out any pay on that. So yet again, I guess things always, go back to money. So yes, there was a movie. I wanted to do it. Well, actually, I wanted to fight more than I wanted to do the movie. Because to be honest, you guys, I don't care about fame. I don't care about movie making and stuff like that. If it happens, it happens. I'm not the kind of person that pushes for it.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.